Now is we have, why don't you read Anne Marie item 5, and I have a public comment card on item 5. We do not have a quorum, so we will be operating as any action we take will be a communication from the chair. So read item 5, and then I'd like to have Alex Holsheimer, please come forward.
Okay. Communication from the Chief Legislative Analyst regarding City Administrative Officer and CLA to report relative to CRA and Assembly Bills 1X26 and 1X27.
Good morning, and please have a chair, a seat, and state your name, because I got a feeling I didn't do it properly.
No problem. You were close. Thank you. Good morning. My name is Alex Holsheimer, and I'm with the Thai Community Development Center and also serve on the East Hollywood Neighborhood Council. So I'm a resident, and I'm a community advocate and activist in the Hollywood and East Hollywood community. And I'm just here today to provide a comment on the assembly bills that are coming up today regarding the CRA. One is the continuation bill, and as a resident and a stakeholder, I support the continuation of the CRA in Hollywood and East Hollywood community. And over the 3 years working in the community, I've experienced firsthand the positive impacts redevelopment has had in our community, such as affordable housing, the preservation and creation of farmers markets, and creating living wage job opportunities. So I strongly urge the committee to support the continuation of the CRA.
You urge me now.
I urge you, yes, Councilmember Weston, yes. And there are many great community projects that the CRA, that would be at risk if the CRA wasn't continued. And one of those projects is actually our Thai Town Marketplace. It is a public market project that provides entrepreneurship opportunities to aspiring entrepreneurs in the community and support the low-income community in East Hollywood. And this revitalizes the Metro Plaza and public space at Hollywood and Western. It also creates 19 small businesses and 40 permanent jobs for the community. So it really builds upon the strength of the community, and with additional funding that we've received from the federal government and private foundations, it's truly a public-private partnership. But there are other projects like this too. In rapidly changing communities, the CRA has supported affordable housing, which is one of the best support systems for vulnerable populations. So because of affordable housing and other great projects in our community, I strongly urge you, Councilmember Weston, to support the continuation.
And I've been joined by Councilmember Cardenas.
Yes.
So exactly. You urge us.
I urge both of you. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you. Mm-hmm. And now we're joined by Councilmember Perry, so we have a quorum. So I'd like to ask Anne Marie if you go to the dais and the city attorney from the CRA. No problem. This is, we're going to continue this item, but I wanted to, on the record, have people know why we have to continue this item. So, we're on a kind of like a timeline. We're trying to get this done before the council goes on recess. It was scheduled for today, but there were a couple of bumps along the road, so I was hoping that the two of you could explain, why we're not ready today and when we will be ready.
Okay. Anne Marie Sauer with the CLA. The CAO and the CLA have been working very closely with the CRA and the City Attorney's Office to prepare a report, and we are very close to releasing it. However, we really wanted to have a draft ordinance that we could include. So we've been, again, working with the CRA and the City Attorney to get all of our questions answered. We anticipate hopefully releasing our report tomorrow, and that there will be a draft ordinance attached so that the full council will have plenty of time to review the matter before it comes before them, hopefully next week.
Okay, so where are we at with the draft ordinance?
Yeah, Mr. Chair, Kurt Kidder from the City Attorney's Office. One correction, I'm actually the attorney for the city now, not the CRA.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No problem. On the ordinance, we're very close. We've been working with the CRA on the terms of the ordinance, and there is some discussion now about going forward with an urgency. Under AB 26 and 27, the CRA is actually prohibited from entering into any new contracts or amending any existing contracts. And apparently that's a concern for the agency for a number of health and safety concerns about the ongoing operations of the agency. So we are actually looking at an urgency ordinance now, and that would come before you, I believe, next week. But we're pretty close to finishing that up. We're also negotiating a funding agreement with the agency because under AB 26 and 27, you have to make payments to the county, the state and the county auditor every year. The agency's, the first payment will be due on January 15th. And so the agency will actually be funding the city's payment of that. So we're working on an agreement with the agency right now for what we're calling a remittance funding agreement, and we're negotiating the terms of that. And that will be authorized, part of the action that the council will be requested to take.
Okay, and you think we will be able to come up with language that will create an urgency clause?
It appears that there are some facts and circumstances that will arise to the charter required findings for an urgency. We're still reviewing that, but it looks like that's the direction that we're headed.
Because, see, it's my, well,
Could you clarify the timing?
we should be ready by next week. But what I'd want to do is to get all of those documents together as soon as possible. Because it's our plan to hear this in committee next week and then have it go to council the same day. So in order for that to work, I need whatever documents that you guys are preparing, and they have to be circulated to every member of the council so that they have time to call people to ask questions or be prepared to ask questions. I don't want to try to do this at, we have the committee and then we go downstairs and we're taking a very important action. So when do you think we will have documents that could be circulated to the rest of the members of the council? And I mean, not just the members of this committee.
Right, no, I understand. Some of it is, our report is very close. Like I said, we just really want to be able to include the ordinance.
Could you define very close?
I would,
24 hours, 48 hours, 72 hours?
if we have the ordinance, because obviously that's critical, once we have that, our plan is to release tomorrow. I mean, we'd really like to have the report out on Thursday before close of business.
If you mind, Mr.
Yeah,
Chairman.
right
So
ahead.
basically what you're having us interpret by your answer is that once you get that ordinance, within 24 hours or less, you feel confident that you can turn that report around and get it out. That's what you're saying.
Correct.
And 24 hours, 48 hours, 72 hours, how long do you think you can guesstimate at this time it will take from today, from this hour forward, to get that ordinance?
Yeah, we should have the ordinance in pretty much final form. I'm guessing that within the next 48 hours, hopefully
Okay.
sooner.
Much better, thank you. Because soon is a really, really broad term. Soon to the
No, I
chairman
agree, I
might
agree.
be different than me. Like when I was an engineer, we used to make fun of the guys who used to be engineers and make buildings. I was an electrical engineer. I said, our margin of error is microns. You can't even see that. Margin of error for somebody who's building a building, maybe half a brick, right? So margin of error in that example is very broad. Soon is very broad, but thank you very much for narrowing it down to within 24, 48-hour periods.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
No, thank you. So the goal, let's do everything that we can to try to have it done and circulated by Friday afternoon. That should be our target. And Bimbo was up here, and look, my name placard, man, you made it crooked, so. Where's the sergeant? You're not supposed to let him get that close to me. Okay, thank you two very much. So then, without objection on item 5, we will continue that item for 1 week. Anne Marie, if you could read items, we'll start off with item 1.
Item 1, CRA report relative to the CRA quarterly status report on CRA investments as of March 31st, 2011.
Okay, we'll receive and file the CRA report on that, item 2.
Item number 2, motion Perry Parks relative to establishing the date, time, and location for the public hearing in accordance with the Tax, Equity, and Fiscal Responsibility Act of 1982.
Item 3. Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay. Item 2?
I was distracted, so
Oh, okay.
you just continue. I interrupted you.
Okay. That was the TEFRA for the extension of the bond maturity term from 35 to 40 years for the Roslyn Lofts project.
Okay, and this is item 2.
Correct.
Okay, then we'll adopt that motion. Item 3.
Item 3, CRA report relative to request to approve the use of tax-exempt bond proceeds not to exceed approximately $6 million to cover a portion of the acquisition cost of property located at 3670 Wilshire Boulevard from Shinyang 3670 LLC.
Okay, we'll adopt the CRA report on that. Item 4.
Los Angeles Housing Department report and resolution relative to authority to adoption of TEFRA resolution and minutes for the Chinatown Metro Apartments and Taylor Yard Apartment projects.
Okay, then we'll adopt the Housing Department's report and resolution. We continued item 5. Is there any more business before the committee?
No, sir.
Then before we adjourn, I'd like to say that I have I've been asked by Council President Eric Garcetti to chair the Rules Committee at a time when redistricting is going to be a challenge, and I have agreed to do that. But I just want, and I believe and he and I talked, and he knew, based on the relationship that I have with the staff, that I wanted to let you know myself. And I do believe that he'll be making whatever changes he makes by the end of the week. But I have truly enjoyed all of you, and hopefully I'll get a city attorney that wears suspenders when I go to the new committee, and you guys have been really great. Now, that could change. I could wake up tomorrow and be, insect control, but it is my understanding that I won't be. But I've had fun. Again, you guys have been very efficient. You work hard. You've done a lot. It's been a joy to work with the departments, the CRA, CDD, housing, and I have enjoyed. The members have been phenomenal. Again, generally, we run a very efficient meeting. We get a lot of work done, and we do it. I think we take advantage of every moment that we have. So I just wanted to say, I don't know how long I got left, but I think I'll be here next week.
You look pretty healthy. You look like you'll be around a long time.
I think I'll be here next week. But I did want you to know that I have enjoyed it. We've had fun. Most of the people have good humor that are on the committee and that come before this committee. Now, with that said, I don't have a clue as to who will replace me. Rumor has it that it might be Mitch Englander. I mean, you know how much he cares about redevelopment, or Paul Koretz, or what have you. In fact, I'm sure, though, that the member that does take over this committee will be a committed public servant that has a lot of years of experience, a person that's going to do his or her very best. In fact, it won't be her, so I guess it has to be a him at this point. I don't have any idea who that person might be, Mr. Cardenas. Do you have any idea?
I don't know who'd be interested in this job.
I don't know.
It's hard to fill your shoes, Councilmember West.
Yeah, these seven and a halves can get. Yeah, I wear the same size as Councilmember Perry. But anyway, again, Mr. Cardenas, I don't have a clue. So with that said, this committee is adjourned. Thank you all.
Can we give you applause?